Money, 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 money. Money. Money, 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 money. Money. Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm Intrepid Tales of a Quirky Girl, and today's video is all about money. Specifically, how do we get more money to travel? Okay, money. We all use it, we all need it, but how do we get more of it to travel? Many people think that they can't afford to travel, that it's a luxury, and that only the rich travel. If I can do it, so can you. And I ain't rich. So if you want to travel more, then stick around and watch this video because I'm about to give you my top tips, 20 to be exact, that I literally do every day to help me afford to holiday regularly throughout the year. Disclaimer, I work full-time. I actually go to a job and work full-time Monday to Friday. I'm not one of those full-time travel bloggers you see with another video explaining how you can travel full-time. No. This video is for you, the regular person, who wants to take more regular holidays throughout the year. Okay. For your convenience, I've split this video up into 4 sections: budgeting, saving, earning, and then finally booking. So let's dive right in. Okay, first up, budgeting. Okay, budget. It should be a swear word, but I swear that it is actually the key to affording more travel. You don't need fancy spreadsheets and just to spend a lot of time on it, but you do need to sit down and figure out what you're earning, what you're currently spending, and how out or in balance that is. And if you're going to do it, be honest about how much you're actually spending, because otherwise there's no point to doing it at all. So if your spend column is bigger than your income column, then of course you're in a negative, and that's not good. You won't be holidaying anytime soon. You need to honestly figure out how much you can afford to spend each pay cycle and stick to it. Okay. But most importantly, you need to allocate a portion of your income to travel. This is the key. Take money out of your pay each week or fortnight or how often you get paid and put it aside in a separate savings account for travel. It has to be separate because then you can't see it, you can't spend it, and eventually it will grow and you'll be zipping off on your first holiday before you know it. If you keep waiting until the day that you can afford to go on a holiday without actually making any changes, then guess what? You're not going to be able to afford to go on a holiday anytime soon. So you've got to make the changes. I've tried lots of things over the years to develop a simple budget, and I've never been able to stick to any one thing until I found this, the Barefoot Investor. I like it because it is targeted towards Aussies. So it takes into account all of our needs. It's super easy and super simple. Now, I can't go into all the details because, copyright and whatever, but what I can say is that he recommends you to split your income up each. I'm going to talk in fortnights because I get paid fortnightly. Split your income each fortnight up into 4 sections. So daily expenses, splurging, paying off debt, and short-term goals, which is what we're talking about, travel. Had a memory block. So daily expenses are the necessary things you have to spend. So they're your bills, that's your rent, that's your mobile phone, that's your groceries, everything that you actually have to spend to survive. Splurging is just that, splurging. Going out to dinner, having takeaway, getting your hair done, all those things that you don't actually need to do, but they're just fun. The third one is paying off debt. So that's self-explanatory. Paid off. Okay, and the fourth one is going towards short-term goals. In our case, travel. I call it travel. Okay, this is actually the strategy. This is actually the strategy that I use so that I can afford regular holidays throughout the year. I have debt like everyone else. I have a home loan. I have personal loans, etc. I'm not free of that kind of stuff, but they're well managed, which means that I can afford to take regular holidays as often as what I do. The trick with splitting your pay up into 4 different areas is to assign a percentage to each pay. So Barefoot recommends for 60% of your income to go towards your daily expenses. I won't go into the detail of the rest of them because you can buy the book. I'm not sponsored, by the way. This is just because I find it really useful. So 60% for your daily expenses. So you need to be able to live off 60% of your income. The rest of it, you divide up between those 3 other accounts, and it makes things really easy. And if you can automate it, then it makes it even easier again. Okay, now you have your budget figured out. It's time to go over different ways that you can save money so that you can actually stick to your budget. So my next tip is to do a weekly grocery shop. That means you sit down, figure out roughly what meals you're having during the week, go to the grocery store and do the shop for the week. This means that you're going to have enough food in the house that you're not going to be tempted to go out and buy takeaway, which can all add up during the week. Or if you're one of those people that stops into the supermarket every night on your way home to get the ingredients for dinner, I don't understand you. I try to avoid supermarkets as much as possible. I certainly don't want to go there every day. But anyway, if that is you, doing a weekly shop will help you avoid impulse spends and buying extra stuff just because you're probably hungry after work. Not a cooking fan? Lazy with lunches? Then my next tip is to cook once, eat twice. So each night you're cooking dinner, make up more than you need for that meal, enough that you have enough for lunch the next day or dinner or whatever, could be any meal in the future. You could even freeze it if you want for those nights where you just can't be bothered. So then you can just pop it in the microwave, defrost it, heat it up however you want, and pop your auntie. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you can't have that latte or that glass of wine because you, smart little minx, have factored that into your splurge budget that we talked about before. But I bet there is something that you're buying that's unnecessary. We all do it. We go shopping when we're hungry and then buy food when we're out because we haven't been prepared, or we buy that cute little thing and then get it home and think, why? I didn't need it. Why did I do that? Or you just simply don't like it anymore. So whatever it is, find out your kryptonite and stop it. Okay, it is time to revise all your bills. So I know this one can be put in the too hard basket because it does entail a bit of work. You have to first of all figure out what you're getting billed for, and double check your bank transactions because you might actually be getting billed for something from ages ago that you forgot to cancel or whatever. Anyway, figure out what you're getting billed for, figure out how much you're actually paying for those bills, and shop around. When was the last time you actually checked how much you're paying for things like car insurance, health insurance, your electricity, your phone bills, etc.? The list goes on. Okay, have a look at those bills. See if there is a competing provider in your area and shop around. See if you can get a better deal. Or if you have the gift of the gab, why don't you contact your current provider and see if you can renegotiate a better deal? It is a bit time consuming, but you could actually end up saving hundreds or thousands, depending on your circumstance, across the whole year. So it's worth it. That's a holiday. Another thing is to check when you are shopping around with certain bills and providers if they have affiliate programs with frequent flyer miles. Now, I'm going to be talking about frequent flyer points a bit later on, but just while we're talking about bills, there are certain companies that have deals that are affiliated with collecting points. So you can actually kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You can save money and also get frequent flyer points. So for example, with that, I've been with Telstra for years for my mobile phone plan, and anyone in Australia knows that Telstra markets themselves on being the best coverage across the whole country, and they are the best coverage. But I stopped and I thought, well, where do I actually need my phone? I don't need all that coverage that Telstra is providing. So I shopped around and I found Vodafone to be $30 a month cheaper, way better data. Telstra is really tight ass with their data. They don't give you a good deal at all. So Vodafone's $30 a month less, way better data, and almost the same coverage as Telstra for where I need it. And plus I get frequent flyer points paying my bill each month. So it's a win-win. Okay. I certainly don't advocate you to switch companies when you're doing this step based on the fact that you might get some frequent flyer points. You need to figure out if the deal is actually better for you in the first place. The frequent flyer points will just be a bonus. This one is also a barefoot strategy, and that is to find a bank that has no fees and a high interest savings account attached along with it. They're out there. I'm not going to name the banks because I have no authority to name banks that you should be going and trying, but trust me, they're out there. They have no fees. You can withdraw as many times as you like, and from whatever ATM you like. Excuse me. You can withdraw from whatever ATM you like. You won't get charged that $2, $2.50 fee that a lot of banks like to slug you. They have savings accounts attached to them where they're earning higher interest. Now, when I say higher interest, the one that I'm with is only 1.8% interest, but it's a lot better than the 0.01 whatever percent my normal account was paying. So every little bit helps when it comes to saving for travel. So you could end up with extra spending money at the end of the year by simply making a switch to a bank and saving a bucket load of fees. If you want to be really serious, you can have a Friddle month challenge, whereby you pick 1 month of the year, could be any month, could be longer if you're super keen, and you commit to spending nothing. Nada. $0. Unless it's your bills. You have to pay bills. I don't want the debt collector coming after you. So aside from the necessities, you spend nothing at all. So that means no going out to dinners, no getting your hair done, no buying coffees, nothing. But the trick is, everything that you would have spent, you transfer across into that high interest savings account that you set up, and you watch your funds grow. Ooh. Okay, tip number 8 is to buy secondhand. So when I say buy secondhand, I don't just mean clothes, I mean everything. If you need new furniture, try secondhand. Do you need new white goods? Try secondhand. We've got antique stores, op shops, garage sales, flea markets, online buy, swap and sell sites. There are so many places that people are getting rid of high quality stuff that, because we're just such a wasteful society, people are throwing away really good stuff, and it could be yours for an absolute bargain and could save you massive amounts of money that could be put towards going towards your next holiday. Just try it, you'll be surprised. And you get the bonus of helping the environment. So it's a win-win. Okay, we're up to phase 3, earning extra money. So you might be doing everything on the list possible and your solution is just simply to earn more money. But have you ever actually considered how you could earn extra money? Can you do overtime? Can you get a second job? Can you get a different job, a better paying job? Can you ask for a pay rise? Can you apply for a promotion? Do you have skills that you could freelance? Or you could even sell your unwanted goods on Gumtree. So these are all viable ways that you could earn that extra bit of money to go towards your holiday. The thing is, extra money just won't fall in your lap. You have to go looking for it. And once you start looking, you'll be surprised about what opportunities actually fall into your lap. It's kind of like the law of attraction. Okay, we have budgeted, we have saved, and we have earned more money. Okay, now it's time to book. Yay. But first, quickly, let's get back to the frequent flyer points. So tip number 10 is to collect frequent flyer points. It's not as hard as it sounds. Check which airline services your hub the best. Okay, so where I live, it's Qantas just slightly above Virgin, so I actually target both of them because sometimes they can both have really good deals. Okay, so first of all, apply to the program, get your card, and then search the airline's website to find out how to collect points. They actually have heaps of detailed information about how to get their points. And it's not just a matter of spending. There's plenty of different ways you can earn points, but you can't earn them if you don't know that they're there. So just do a little bit of homework to figure out what the different ways are. Okay. One way to get a whole stack of bonus points is to sign up to credit cards. You do have to be careful with this because you need to be able to well manage a credit card. Okay. But you can get massive sign up points. So anywhere from, they start from like 20,000 frequent flyer points all the way up to 100 plus, 100,000 plus frequent flyer points just by signing up. But read the fine print because there's generally a minimum spend involved. So make sure that that minimum spend is actually what you would just normally spend in your everyday to-day life. Otherwise, you're going to get yourself into trouble if you're trying to buy extra things to get the bonus points. You're probably going to end up spending more than the points are worth. Another random way that I earn frequent flyer points with Qantas is by having their wellbeing app. So I get points for stepping. It tracks my step count, and I do a lot of steps, so I'm quite active. So the points that you get is not a lot, but every little bit counts, and it's free. I carry my phone around on me all the time anyway, so I may as well be getting an extra few points for the steps that I'm doing. Okay, this tip is linked to the one before with your frequent flyer, your frequent flyer program, and that is to make sure you link your credit cards and your loyalty shopping cards to your frequent flyers where you can. So for example, your Flybuys card can link to Velocity, and your Woolies Rewards card can link to your Qantas frequent flyer points. And your credit card that you're using, even though it might not be a bonus sign up for it because you already signed up for it, there might be an option for you to convert it to one that actually earns frequent flyer points for no additional cost to you. So it's worth investigating. Okay, now you have your stash of points, it's time to use them. So get online and search for those reward seat tickets. Not every flight will have reward seats available, and sometimes you do have to book a little bit in advance to use them, but they're there and you can use them. The only additional cost to you will be to pay for your airport taxes and surcharges. Your points unfortunately don't cover that. There are ways apparently you can get around it, but I'm not across that just yet, so I can't go into it. But if there are no straight out reward seats available, or maybe you don't have enough points yet, then you can do a points plus pay option. So when you're booking, you select points plus pay, and you use a portion of your points towards the ticket, and then you just pay the remaining balance as you normally would. Super simple and saves you a bit of money. So to give you an example with booking a reward seat ticket, I've just recently booked our flights to Japan. Now, for those of you who don't know, the best way to get to the most direct way to get to Japan from where I live in Townsville is via Cairns on a direct Jetstar flight into Japan. So we are going to fly from Townsville to Cairns, Cairns to Japan. And when I looked up that ticket on Jetstar, it was going to cost me just over $2,000 return for the two of us. So I jumped on Qantas website, looked at reward seats. Using my points instead, I only paid just under $1,000 in airport taxes. And that even includes one flight between Townsville and Cairns that I needed to pay full fare for because I'd run out of points. So full price, just over $2,000, or using my points and paying the taxes and one whole flight myself, under $1,000. I saved over $1,000. I think that's worth it. The only other time you can get prices that cheap with Jetstar is when they're having their sale fares to Japan, which they do usually about once a year. Sometimes they have a buy one get one free sale or just heavily discounted tickets. So they're available, but the travel dates usually aren't at the time of year where we're going, because we're going around cherry blossom season, and that's a special occasion, and they wouldn't be releasing really cheap tickets on school holidays during a peak travel time to Japan. Okay, tip number 13 is to pack light. Now, you don't need to go extreme and go full carry-on, but that will help. But just get a smaller suitcase or a smaller backpack. Just don't get one of those big ones because you don't need it. You only ever need to take 1 week's worth of clothes, because if you're going away for longer than that, you can wash. And it will stop you from packing all of those just in case items and stop you from overbuying too many souvenirs when you're away, which we've all been guilty of doing. And this way, you'll definitely avoid excess baggage fees. They can be a killer. When you're actually searching for your flight, search Incognito. If you don't know what this is, look it up, start searching, because airlines and booking sites can track what you're searching for and manipulate prices based on what you're searching for. So if you're waiting for that price to go down or that sale to appear on a hotel, chances are it's not going to happen if you're not searching Incognito. If you can be flexible with your travel dates, it's going to go a long way to shaving massive amounts off the cost of your holiday. So prices are always more expensive during peak travel seasons. Prices are always more expensive during peak travel seasons, which is usually during the Northern Hemisphere's summertime or around Christmas, New Year's. There are shoulder seasons across the year, but they are your two biggest, most expensive times to travel. Basically, any time in the school holidays as well. Okay. So if you can avoid these peak travel times, when you're booking, things like flights and accommodation mostly are going to be a lot cheaper. The only other exception is if there's a special event on when you're traveling to. So for example, cherry blossom season when we go to Japan, or next year when it's the Olympics and you're going there. Doesn't matter what time of year that they're on, they're going to be more expensive as well. If you're unlucky like me and you have to travel during peak seasons due to work, then you just need to be a little bit more organized in your booking. So usually the sweet spot is anywhere from 3 to 5 months in advance. That can change, but that's generally when I do all my booking. And utilizing my points and employing all the other tips and tricks on this video. Along with saving money on flights, keeping an open mind about the types of accommodation that you stay in is crucial to also saving money. Okay. Hostels can have some really great facilities and you don't need to stay in a dorm. They do have private rooms with en-suites for couples. Okay. Maybe even renting a house or apartment or or whatever on Airbnb can be a lot cheaper if you're staying in one location for a bit longer, as opposed to paying a nightly rate at a hotel. And also sometimes if you're traveling somewhere that has a really great transportation system, you don't need to stay right in the center. Sometimes just that a little bit out can save you a ton of money in booking. And also, do you need that much space? Because really, you're going to be out exploring. You're not going to be in your room very much. So do you need to spend all that extra money on space? To go along with tip number 15, and that is to travel with friends. Not only is it really fun to travel with other people, some of the best memories I have are the trips that I've taken with friends. Traveling with friends can help you cut costs dramatically on your accommodation because, for example, you can find a house to rent instead of paying for individual hotel rooms and then share the costs. You'll save money and have way more fun. Know when your favorite airlines have their sales and sign up to their email alerts. I know I'm harping on a lot about flights, but in Australia, that is one of our biggest expense when we are traveling overseas. We kind of got to travel far to get pretty much everywhere, so the flights make up a massive chunk of our holiday costs. So, for example, Jetstar have their Friday Fare Frenzy, Friday Fare, whatever, it's a sale on Friday. And Virgin has their happy hour sale on Thursdays. So know when your airlines are having their sales, jump on and search because you can save a ton of money. Tip 18 is to buy travel insurance. This is a just in case, and it might not seem like you're saving money, but trust me, when you are overseas and you need medical help and you do not have travel insurance, it is expensive. Okay, and you don't want to get stuck in that situation. So you might never need to use it. Hopefully you don't. I hope that you don't. But if you do, you're going to save yourself because you'll save a ton of money in medical bills. Not to mention all the other cool stuff that it covers you for. So things like lost and stolen goods, sometimes weather events. I can't stop burping. Why is that? Oh. Not to mention all the other things that it covers you for, such as lost and stolen goods, weather events, and a whole host of other unforeseen circumstances. Trust me, you can't afford to travel unless you have travel insurance. Okay. booking flights and accommodation at your destination that you're traveling to. Unless you're traveling for a specific event, then consider booking the bulk of your accommodation and any domestic flights you might need when you get to your local destination. Definitely book your first 1 or 2 nights before you get there, because the last thing you want to do is be jet lagged, tired, hungry, hangry, all the above, trying to find somewhere to stay for the night. So get yourself set up when you first get there. Use those first couple of days to scope out your local area, where it is that you actually want to stay, and then use the local search engines to find the accommodation, or even go and knock on their door and say, hey, have you got a room? And then book the rest of the accommodation while you're there. The same thing with domestic flights. So sometimes it's really expensive to book a domestic flight from outside of the origin of that destination. So it's way cheaper when you actually get there. My last tip is just book a ticket. It is amazing the money saving wizardry you can come up with when you know you have a deadline to meet. That trip is booked. It is happening, so you better make it happen. Okay, so that's my tips for budgeting, saving, earning more money, and then saving money when you're actually, hey, I don't know, I don't do this. Saving money when you actually, now I feel like I'm giving the finger. Ah! Okay, that's my tips for budgeting, saving, earning more money, and then saving money when it actually comes time to book. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you found it useful. If you did, give it a like so that you know, I know, not you know because you know, I need to know if you actually got something out of it, so I know too, I was doing the right thing and I need to do more of this kind of stuff. If you want to see more videos, subscribe. If you actually have any other tips that you want to share with everyone, please comment below. I'd love to know about them, and I'm sure other people would too. If you want to follow me on Instagram, the link is below. Okay, but for now, I leave you with this. If you want to travel, you have to choose travel. It doesn't have to be as expensive as it's made out to be. If you really want it to happen, it can, it will. Just make it a priority and everything will fall into place. So, until next time, be good humans. Bye.